I first saw him sitting there, all alone, in the corner of the small cafe. He didn't look like someone who wanted to be noticed. His shoulders were slightly hunched, as if carrying a weight no one else could see. He didn't smile, he didn't talk. He just sat, quiet and still, like a shadow waiting to disappear. There was something about him that caught my eye. Not because he was handsome or loud, quite the opposite. He was almost invisible, blending into the background, like he was trying not to be found. But his eyes, those tired, heavy eyes, told a story no words ever could. They held secrets, pain, memories that chased him wherever he went. I wondered who he was. What brought him here? Why was he alone on a chilly afternoon when the cafe was full of chatter and laughter? He looked like someone who had seen too much, and now just wanted to sit quietly, somewhere safe, even if just for a little while. I don't know why I kept watching him. Maybe it was because I saw something I recognized, an invisible fight, a silent battle that no one else seemed to notice. There was a strange calm about the place, but beneath it, I felt tension, like something was about to happen. Something important. I wanted to believe he was just resting, taking a break from the world, but the way he glanced around, careful and sharp, told me he wasn't really at peace. His hands resting on the table were clenched just a little too tight. He was waiting for something. Or maybe someone. And then I overheard a conversation at the next table. Words that made my heart stop. Words that made me realize this quiet soldier, this man who tried so hard to disappear, was about to have his world turned upside down. I didn't know it then, but what I heard would change everything. I kept watching him. The soldier, there was something about his clothes that told me a story right away. They weren't fresh or clean. His jacket was worn at the edges, the fabric faded like it had been through too many battles. His boots looked heavy, scuffed from miles of walking. It wasn't the uniform of someone fresh from training. No, this was the uniform of someone who had been there, deep in the storm, and somehow still carrying on. His face was rough, a few days' worth of stubble shadowed his jaw, but it was his eyes that pulled me in the most. They looked tired, too tired for someone so young. Not the kind of tired from a long day, but a deeper kind, like they had seen things no one should ever see. There was sadness there, maybe even a little fear, but mixed in with that sadness was a quiet strength. The kind of strength that doesn't shout. It whispers. It holds on when everything inside wants to break. I felt a strange mix of feelings watching him. Sadness for his loneliness, respect for his silence, curiosity about his story. Why was he here all alone in this noisy cafe? Was he running from something, or running towards something? Around me the cafe hummed with life, the clinking of cups, the soft murmur of voices, the faint smell of coffee and fresh bread. The heat from the steaming cups made little clouds of warmth rise into the cool air. A barista called out orders, the bell above the door jingled as new customers came in, laughter bubbled from a nearby table of friends. But through it all, the soldier sat like a still point in the storm. I noticed small things about him. How his hands trembled slightly as he reached for his coffee. How his eyes darted to the entrance every few minutes, like he was watching for someone. The way he flinched when the door opened suddenly, as if bracing for bad news. There was a restlessness beneath his calm, a tension in the way he sat. It was clear he was haunted by memories, by fears, by something he wasn't ready to face. Then a new pair of customers came in and sat down at the table next to him. A man and a woman. They spoke quietly at first, their voices low but urgent. I didn't want to listen. I told myself I should mind my own business, but their words slipped through, just fragments at first, but enough to catch my attention. They seemed nervous, watching the soldier more than the other way around. Their conversation was sharp, clipped. There was something dangerous in their tone, like they were plotting something no one else in the cafe should hear. I glanced at the soldier again. He didn't notice them at first, but soon I saw his eyes flicker toward their table. A moment of recognition, maybe, or maybe just suspicion. Whatever it was, it changed something in his face. I felt my heart quicken. The quiet soldier, the worn clothes, the tired eyes, all of it suddenly felt more urgent. Like this moment, right here, was about to unravel a story far bigger than the small cafe around us. I tried not to listen. I really did, but the words from the next table slipped through anyway. The cafe noises faded around me. All I could hear was their voices, low, urgent, dangerous. The woman spoke first, her voice sharp and tense. "He can't find out. If he does, it's over for all of us." The man leaned closer, eyes darting around like they feared being watched. "I told you we have to make him disappear. Before he talks, disappear." That word hit me like a cold wave. What were they talking about? Someone had to vanish? Was it a threat? A warning? The soldier sitting next to them didn't say a word, but I saw it, the way his body stiffened, the quick glance he shot their way before pretending to sip his coffee. His jaw tightened, his eyes darkened. I wondered if they knew each other. The woman's voice dropped to a whisper, but the weight behind her words was clear. "Betrayal is dangerous. He's already crossed the line. If we don't act now, everything falls apart." I swallowed hard, my heart pounding so loudly I was sure they could hear it. What line had been crossed? What secret did they hold that could ruin so much? The man's voice cracked just slightly, revealing his fear. "You said you had it covered. The plan was foolproof." "I had it," the woman snapped back. "But now there's a leak, and he's too close." The soldier shifted in his seat. He didn't speak, but his fingers clenched the cup so tightly his knuckles went white. His eyes flicked to the door, then back to the couple. I could see the tension running through his body like electricity. "Do you think he suspects?" the man asked. "Not yet," she answered. "But soon, and when that happens, we lose everything. The mission, the money, the lives depending on us." Mission, money, lives. I felt a chill run down my spine. Whatever this was, it wasn't just some ordinary crime. It was bigger, darker. The soldier suddenly shifted his weight, pulling his coat tighter around him. He looked away, staring at the chipped paint on the wall as if trying to disappear even more. I wanted to reach out, to say something, but I was frozen in place, caught between fear and curiosity. The woman's voice dropped even lower. "We need to move fast, tonight, no mistakes." "Tonight," the man repeated. "If we don't act now, everything's lost." A flicker of pain crossed the soldier's face. I thought I saw a tear, but when he blinked, it was gone. He looked back toward the couple, but still said nothing. I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me. This wasn't just a secret, it was a storm waiting to break. The conversation slowed, but the danger didn't fade. I glanced around, suddenly aware of the other people in the cafe, the families, the students, the elderly couple, sharing a quiet moment. None of them had any idea what was unfolding just a few feet away. The soldier finally shifted again, this time more deliberately. He pulled out a phone from his pocket, fingers trembling. His eyes were locked on the couple, but he didn't make a move. My breath caught in my throat. Was he going to stop them, or was he part of this too? The man spoke again, voice lower now, as if preparing to leave. "We can't fail. Not this time." The woman nodded, her eyes hard. "He won't see it coming." The soldier's fingers tightened around his phone. He looked toward the exit like a man ready to face whatever waited outside. But inside, his face was a mask of fear and determination. And me, I was stuck in that moment, heart racing, knowing I had just become part of something much bigger than I ever expected. I kept listening, trying to piece together the puzzle from their broken sentences and hurried whispers. The more I heard, the darker the picture became. This wasn't just about disappearing people or secret missions. It was about betrayal, danger, and something much bigger than I first thought. The woman's voice broke through again. "If Marcus finds out, we're all finished. He's ruthless. He won't hesitate to burn everyone to save himself." Marcus, that name hit the soldier hard. I saw it, just a flicker, but enough to know he knew it well. His eyes sharpened. His breath hitched. Suddenly the quiet man wasn't so quiet anymore. The man whispered, "We can't trust anyone anymore." The double cross came from inside. "We need to fix it before it spreads." The words double cross sent a cold shiver down my spine. Who could you trust in a world like that? And what did that mean for the soldiers sitting so close to them? I glanced at him again. His face was a mask, but his hands trembled just a little as he gripped the table's edge. There was pain behind his eyes, a hidden story buried deep, where no one could reach. I found myself feeling something strange, a mix of fear, confusion and sympathy. I didn't know who he was, but I could feel the weight of his past pressing down on him. It was like he was carrying a ghost no one else could see. Suddenly the woman said something that caught me off guard. Marcus won't stop until he's wiped clean. We have to act before he finds the proof we hid. Proof. Hidden proof. What kind of secret could be so dangerous it made people plan to disappear others? The soldier's lips pressed into a thin line, his eyes flicked toward the couple again, then closed briefly, like he was trying to shut out a memory. In that moment, I saw a flash of something, maybe a memory, running through his mind. I imagined a battlefield, gunfire, the sound of shouting. Then a quiet voice, maybe his own, saying something I couldn't hear. Was it regret? Fear, or a promise? The man's voice returned, softer this time, almost desperate. We have to move tonight, before Marcus gets the evidence. The woman nodded but looked worried. If he finds the evidence, it's over for all of us. And especially for him. The soldier's eyes opened wide. His whole body seemed to tense. I thought I saw a tear slide down his cheek, but it was gone before I could be sure. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper, glancing at it quickly before folding it away again. His hands shook. What was on that paper? A name? An address? A warning? My heart raced, wondering how this man, sitting quietly beside us, was caught in the middle of something so dangerous. The couple's voices lowered even more. If Marcus finds him, it won't just be the evidence lost, it'll be lives. Our lives. Especially his, the man said, almost in a whisper. The soldier didn't react outwardly, but his eyes betrayed him. I could see the pain, the fear, the silent scream inside him. Who was Marcus? What had the soldier done, or maybe what had been done to him? I realized then that the soldier wasn't just a man trying to disappear, he was a man running from a past that wouldn't let him go. And the secrets in that cafe, whispered just a few feet away, were about to change everything. I felt a lump form in my throat. I wanted to reach out, to help, to warn him. But I was just a stranger, an invisible witness to a story I wasn't sure I was ready to hear. The couple got up, preparing to leave, their voices low but sharp with urgency. Tonight, the woman said again. We have to end this. The soldier sat still, eyes fixed on the door they had just gone through. I stayed frozen, heart pounding, knowing the night ahead would not be quiet anymore. The cafe seemed to hold its breath, as the couple's conversation reached a boiling point. Their words grew sharper, more urgent, and the danger between them became almost tangible. The woman's voice was cold now, without a trace of doubt. Marcus has to be stopped. No one can know what he's planning. Especially not him. The man nodded slowly. He's closer than we thought. If he finds out we're behind the leak, we're done. The soldier beside them didn't move. Not yet, but his eyes were locked on every word, every breath. His fingers twitched on the table, barely noticeable, but enough for me to see. I could feel the tension rising inside me, like the air before a storm breaks. Who were they talking about? Who was the him they wanted to protect their secrets from? Suddenly, the soldier's hand slid into his coat pocket again. This time, he pulled out his phone. His thumb hovered over the screen, trembling slightly. He was ready to act, but act how? To stop them? To warn someone? Then everything changed. The woman said something that hit me like a punch. If he turns on us, it's all over, we lose everything. The man replied, voice low and serious. We have to disappear him first, before he disappears us. And then, a name. The name that shattered everything I thought I knew. James. The soldier's eyes widened, and for the first time he spoke. Just a whisper, they're after me. I froze. James was the soldier's name. The quiet haunted man, sitting alone in the cafe, was the very person they feared most. The man they wanted to erase. I couldn't believe it, The soldier, the quiet shadow I had been watching, was the center of a dangerous storm. The target of betrayal and fear. My voice caught as I tried to make sense of it all. How could this man, who looked so tired and broken, be the one everyone was afraid of? Was he a spy? A whistleblower, or something even more complicated? The soldier, James, looked at me briefly, as if sensing I knew now. His eyes were filled with pain, and a fierce determination I hadn't seen before. He slid his phone across the table toward me. "I need help," he said softly. In that moment, the cafe's usual noise felt distant and irrelevant. The laughter, the clinking of cups, the chatter, it all faded away. The only thing real was the man in front of me, caught in a fight between his past and what lay ahead. James's mind was racing. Fight or flight, trust or hide. The weight of his decision pressed down like a heavy stone in his chest. I saw the battle in his eyes, the longing for safety, the fear of betrayal, the hope for a chance to make things right. The couple was gone now, but their threat lingered like a shadow in the room. James knew they would come back. He had to decide what to do next. Stay and fight for the truth, or run and disappear into the night. His hand tightened on mine, the only connection in that moment. "We can't stay here," he said quietly. "They'll find me." I nodded, heart pounding. Whatever this was, whatever danger followed him, I knew I couldn't turn away. Not now. The cafe seemed smaller, quieter, as if holding its breath along with us. The ordinary world we had known just moments ago had vanished. James stood slowly, the weight of his past and future resting on his shoulders. In that instant, I saw not just a soldier, but a man trying to rewrite his story. And I realized, sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest battles inside. James stood, his movements slow and careful, as if every step was measured against an invisible enemy. Without a word, he slipped his phone back into his pocket and pulled his coat tighter around him. Then, just like that, he walked toward the door and disappeared into the cold afternoon light. The cafe returned to its usual rhythm, but the quiet he left behind stayed with me, a heavy weight pressing against my chest. I sat there, lost in thought, wondering about all the invisible battles people carry inside them. How often do we walk past someone like James, unaware of the war raging beneath their calm surface? Loneliness, fear, trust. I realized these were not just words, but lives lived in silence, struggles, hidden behind tired eyes and quiet gestures. That small moment, overhearing a few whispered words at the next table, had pulled me into a story far bigger than my own. It reminded me how fragile we all are, and how much courage it takes just to keep going. James wasn't just a soldier, he was a man caught between the past and the future, fighting to survive in a world that wanted to erase him. And maybe, just maybe, there are many more like him. Quiet warriors we never see, fighting battles we can only imagine. Sometimes, all it takes is one moment. One overheard conversation. One chance to see beyond the surface. To remember that behind every stranger's silence is a story worth hearing. If this story touched you, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories like this. Sharing it with friends helps us reach more people who appreciate the quiet, powerful moments in life. Remember, every person you pass by carries a story, sometimes hidden, sometimes waiting to be heard. The quiet heroes are all around us, and all it takes is a little listening to understand them better. Thank you for being here, and for opening your heart to stories that matter.